How you guys doing?
Howdy. Guys, we're really happy to have Cash Cash here. They're releasing their album, Blood, Sweat, and 3 Years tomorrow. Let's give another warm welcome for Cash Cash.
Look at our ugly faces up there.
You can't really see your faces there. Only like half of one there, right? So tell us a bit about this album. You know, when did you guys start working on it? What's sort of the story behind it? You know?
Well, as you can see, it's called Blood, Sweat, and 3 Years. So it's been 3 years. It took a while. You know, it took a while. We didn't want to rush it. But the cool thing about this album is that it defines the last 3 years of our lives, which, you know, I speak for all three of us. Like, we're 3 of the best years ever. You know, we got to see so many amazing places and meet so many inspiring people along the way, including the people that we worked with on the record, people that we never thought we would ever work with in a million years, like John Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls, Nelly, Busta Rhymes, people we grew up, you know, being influenced by. And, you know, the record is what it says. You know, there was a lot of blood and sweat put in it, a lot of fists thrown, a lot of hospital visits, I'd say 1 million miles flown, you know.
Pretty much.
And here it is. You know, this is our blood, sweat, and 3 years, literally.
That's great. You know, and it sounds like it's like jam-packed with singles. You know, you guys have Millionaire with Nelly, Broken Drum. What's the third one on there?
How to Love.
How to Love, yeah. Talk a little bit about each of those and, you know, sort of how those collaborations came together.
Well, Nelly was easy because we both like to smoke weed, so it's just like we knew it was going to be a match made in heaven. You know, the thing about the record is very diverse. There's so many different styled artists that we merged on so many different style tracks, and that's the theme of the record, but it's all kind of cohesive with like our choice of melody, our choice of chords, and just the general production that we do. But as far as picking the features, I mean, usually we like to just find people that have distinct voices. It's not about like how well someone can sing, how good their pitch is, their range. A voice that like when you hear, you're like, oh my God, like that's Nelly, that's Christina Perri, that's Fits in the Tantrums. And we were really lucky to work with some amazing voices on this record.
Talk a little bit about your creative process, you know, seeing as there's 3 of you, you know, how do you sort of balance different roles in the studio and avoid there sort of being, you know, too many chefs in one kitchen?
I guess, well, we're all producers, we're all songwriters, and we grew up kind of learning together. You know, me and JP started playing guitar and bass when we were in like 5th grade. We all took like piano lessons when we were really little, so we all have a really diverse music background. And yeah, so we could each kind of just like rotate out of the captain's chair when need be in the studio. But a lot of the good thing about us is we tour. Usually it's only 2 of us. We'll tour. We'll rotate who's in the studio. So it's cool because we each get our own alone time in the studio, and then when we all come back together, we got to finish a song or start something new from scratch.
Talk a little bit about, you know, do we have any like aspiring DJs, producers in the audience? Raise your hand. Just one? Okay. I'm sure she'd like to know, yeah, how you guys sort of got your start. You know, give a little backstory, because maybe everyone here doesn't know exactly how Cash Cash came together.
Well, you know, we started, like, Sam and I producing in, like, high school, and it was just, like, our old PC computer, and we were literally plugging into the headphone jack in the back with just, you know, little 1/8-inch converter, and plug in, like you know, little mixers into it, and it sounded horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. The software we're using was a joke. It was like this program called Tonos, I think it was. And, you know, we started fiddling with knobs. Like, this was like before YouTube. There's no like tutorials. There's no way to find out how to do it except for trial and error. And we would just, you know, buy little pieces of gear. We'd save up. We'd work hard. Like, I worked at the animal shelter, and then I was like, we can buy an interface. Like, I remember we got our first interface. I was like, we could plug into the actual interface.
There's a preamp.
There's a compressor, you know? So that was really cool. And then every year, like, studio would grow, and we'd be like, it's sounding better, you know? Like, it's going somewhere. And then eventually it got to a level where we're like, this is competitive. Like, this I feel like we're, like, real producers now. And it happened so gradual, but kind of fast when I look back now.
You guys are signed to Big Beat under Atlantic,
yes.
Correct?
Best label ever.
Talk a little bit about how you attracted the attention of a major label.
We've been in and out of record deals before, but you know, we were at a point in our lives where we were just like, we didn't really want to care about the business side of it. We're like, let's just make music that we like, that we believe in, and we put some music out for free. We didn't have any expectations for it. We were, tired of like sending music to blogs and blogs not wanting to post about us and not getting emails back. And we're like, let's just put this song out. We put it out for free, and literally overnight, it was like 2 days like went by, and the song went like #1 on Hype Machine, and like all these blogs were posting about it. And it was a song that like we didn't even want to put out. Like it was a fight. Like Alex didn't want to put it out. He's like, this song sucks.
This isn't done
He's
yet.
like, this is a joke. It's so weird. There's not even a real vocal on it. And it was a song we put out called Overtime, and it really kind of like kick-started the second wave of our career. And I think that it's just a good example of like us wanting to do things ourselves, and then we did that, and then Big Beat saw what we were doing, and we teamed up with them, and it was cool because this time around it was more of a partnership. They were like, we love what you're doing, we're gonna help you guys do it better, versus like just getting signed to a major label as like a bunch of kids and being like, I don't know, like I'll do whatever you want, And so we have a great dynamic with them.
Cool. What sort of advice might you give for artists who are coming up and are starting to attract label interest in terms of making a decision on whether to sign with one or not?
Yeah, I guess it really depends on depending on the type of label. I think there's a lot of labels right now will do more of a partnership thing. We give they'll give you a lot more freedom, but in return sometimes you have to give up a little bit of your like merch sales or touring and stuff, but sometimes that really helps because they'll be way more involved. You know what I mean? They'll be more involved in your touring and your branding and building you as like a full entity as opposed to just selling your music. But a lot of times it's good. There's different angles. A lot of indie labels it's more about just the connections they have, and then sign a singles deal here or a few songs here. Sometimes it gives you the freedom to try different things or try different labels. So that's where it was kind of fortunate for us. We did, we've had different labels. We've done indie labels, major labels before this. So I think the experience of doing different types of labels really gave us good perspective going into, our thing that we have now.
I think one thing to kind of more standpoint with the one question, though, is like the good thing is like from being on different labels, my advice to the producer would be don't expect any label to find you. You have to find yourself, and then once you find yourself, you'll have a great experience with a record label because then you can work together. It's not like there's a goal. You know what you want. The label knows what you want, and you're gonna go for it together. Versus like just signing and not knowing what you want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Dance music has sort of like a real DIY kind of concept. Artists kind of making it on streaming platforms and racking up large numbers before the labels attract interest, which is the reverse of the previous climate.
Right. Back in the day, you saw a group playing at a bar, and the A&R would be like, they're amazing. Now it's like, look at their numbers.
And obviously, kind of an interesting news tie-in. SoundCloud played a big role in your guys' rise, and it was an important platform. There have obviously been a lot of changes to the platform recently. Do you have any sort of perspective or feelings on those, or how they affect kind of that climate of discovery?
Oh yeah, it definitely affected us. We were getting our own songs pulled off our page. It was like, don't we own that?
Yeah.
That our own label? I'm confused. There were songs that we put out independently, not like that we owned in the United States. Label affiliated in other countries. So, I hope they figure it out because it was a great platform. The whole way you can comment on like certain parts of the songs was amazing. Like I would always go through and be like, oh, interesting. They like this part right here for this reason. And it was cool, it was like music lovers.
It was definitely cool, getting the interaction like directly from the listener at the actual time where they like the best part. It was definitely very cool.
But we've been lucky. Our page hasn't gotten pulled. A lot of other big DJs got their pages just wiped,
Yeah, and we've kind of, we've tried it all. We did a radio show that was mainly on SoundCloud that we had a lot of trouble with, so I think we were really close to getting it pulled.
Yeah.
But yeah, fortunately, it definitely helped us out getting started, and hopefully, they'll figure it out and it'll continue.
Yeah.
I think it is good for the community, especially dance music. It's a good platform for that, so yeah, hopefully they'll figure it all out and it'll go smoothly from here.
How do you feel the overall, kind of market for dance and electronic music has changed since, your rise?
I personally think that dance music now is still evolving, and that's the cool thing is that artists are trying new things. Like people are trying to work with features that might not necessarily fit on pen and paper on a dance track, and then you make something great like Skrillex and Bieber and all the Jack U stuff. And I think that's what kind of keeps it, evolving in different directions versus just taking one path. And we tried to do that on our record too, like mixing hip hop and alternative rock features, pop features. Forget the ceiling. Just, you can do anything you want. And that's the thing. That's the cool thing. There's no box.
One thing that's really interesting about dance and electronic music, and also sort of this new, the new technology that allows people to collaborate across distance. You don't always have to be right in the studio with someone to do something.
Right.
Talk a little bit about some of those major features. Were some of them long distance collabs? Were some of them like in the studio collabs, and how those kind of differed from each other?
That's a good question. We actually, we don't like doing it over like Skype or internet. Like our whole record, like I'd say like 3/4 of it was done in studio with the artist. Like Christina Perry, we brought her to our home studio in Jersey, and then after we were done, like we drove around. I took her to the Soprano house where they filmed it, and we went where they filmed the final episode where at Holston's when he orders the onion rings and stuff.
Spoiler alert. Right?
Yeah, but we do fun stuff with the features. Like John Resnick came over to our home studio. Like we're doing gang vocals, like literally arms around each other, like chanting in the mic. I just think we get better results that way, working with the artist.
Yeah, I think that's been the best results we've had have been collaborating, starting from a really, like bare bones version of the song, and we'll just, work together with the singer so we can really get the emotion.
Because we're songwriters too, so like when we're putting these songs together, it's like it's us and like with acoustic guitars and piano, and we're just kind of writing lyrics down and stuff. Like when we were with B.o.B, same thing, just chilling, like lyric for lyric, and I think it makes us feel more attached to the song versus just if someone sends you a vocal and you do the music for it, it feels like it's a remix. You're just like, whatever. But when you're there writing the lyrics with the artist, but aside from that, like a couple times, like some of the rap verses, like Busta Rhymes, like we were in different places at different times, so he sent us his verse. But still, like we were on the phone talking about stuff, and it's good. It works.
That's cool. What do you feel are some of the biggest misconceptions that exist around dance music right now?
The biggest misconceptions. Well, I guess right now, I don't know. I mean, the cool thing is like people always thought dance music was like a place to go die. Like if you ask a bunch of like the old school guys, like some of a lot of the old agents and like the old label guys, people would say like it's a place you go where artists that failed on pop will go sing on dance tracks or stuff that was like, no one else was gonna like it except people in the club, and then this explosion happened and it was like proved that wrong. It's like it's not the case. There's something here, like the whole world's dancing, and I don't know where it's gonna go next. I mean, who knows?
I do think there's still a crazy amount of growth that's going to happen. Because I really think the most creative musical people are going into electronic music and dance music right now. And I think there's still a lot to be proved to show the rest of the world kind of that people making electronic music and dance music are like real musicians and real artists and not just DJs, pressing buttons.
Yeah.
Which I think everyone in the community already knows that because it is, like, the creativity is crazy right now. People are doing so many different things.
The collaborating is insane.
The collaborating is crazy, and I think a lot of the songwriters, people in the music industry realize that, and that's why there's so much good music coming out right now. But I think the rest of the world still sees a lot of people as just, tapping away at their laptops or whatever. So I think that's going to be the thing that changes in the next few years. Everyone's going to, like, really, I think a lot of just, like, musical and artistry respect is going to come to the genre.
Here's a cool concept too. Back in the day, it was like DJs. I don't think a lot of them were producers. It was like there was DJs DJing other people's music, and there was producers just killing it in the studio. And then eventually they met at some point where it was like the producers realized DJing is an outlet. Why wouldn't I'm making this music that I'm not singing on. I'm working with other people. I'm writing. I'm putting it together. But I should be able to like do something else with it outside of the studio. And that's where it hit with being a DJ. So now it's like. Now that producers and DJs meet, it's like it's a world of producers, not just DJing. So anything goes. You're getting so many different styles, sounds, different people's production techniques are just being thrown everywhere. I think that's great.
Totally, and it's a lot of people don't realize what different skill sets DJing and producing are.
Very different.
I think you touched on a really interesting point, which is that in dance and electronic music, it's one of the few genres or areas where how a song is performed isn't really always like visually indicative of how it was made. Someone could be, using a guitar in the studio, using piano and all that, but then when an audience, especially an outsider audience to dance music, sees them just tapping buttons on CDJs, it's like it doesn't quite show the whole picture,
Right. I mean, live, I know we try to do a lot of fun stuff, like we trigger a lot of acapellas live, do stuff on the fly. Like, we make mistakes, it's fun, like, we laugh, But it's cool, like, we try and, like, make different edits of, like, we'll take our song and have it go into, like, a remix or something, or we try and, like, throw people off guard. So it's not just, like, even with our original music, we're not just playing it in its, regular original form.
Absolutely, and another thing that's changed aside from digital technology in the studio for production is this social media climate of like constant sort of cycles and in many different platforms. Talk a little bit about how you sort of use each platform to sort of spread the word about Cash Cash and reach your fan base.
Well, luckily there's 3 of us up here. So we spread it out because there's just too much of it to like just sometimes do yourself when you're trying to have a normal life. It's cool, like I focus on the Instagram. Sam's always on Snapchat, and Alex is always reposting it on Facebook for us when he's in the studio chilling. So it's good. We split it up,
Yeah, but it's something cool. I mean, to have like the immediate response from the fans is always awesome, and it's cool. You get feedback from the shows as soon as you're off stage.
Yeah.
You already have, people telling you which parts of the show they like. They're like, you could see what it looked like from their perspective immediately. Which is really great, and it helps. I think it helps us grow as performers, definitely, because you get like immediate feedback from the show. So it kind of helps you. You can't not like reflect on what you just did. So I think it's cool because then we can see what the like. It's not just what they want, but it's like kind of how they see us, from the stage, which is like, I feel like you lose that perspective sometimes.
What I like the most about it is that when you look at your social media, all of them, mostly Instagram and like Facebook, even Twitter, but they're becoming life books for people, like a yearbook in high school, and I feel like people didn't have that back in the day. People had to take photos, go get them printed out. Sometimes people would never get around to it. And then you have to go digging for stuff, and you put it in boxes. But this is like, our generation is gonna have these life books to go back and be like, look at where I was when I was like 22 years old, or look at when we played a sold-out show in Korea. Like, this is it, like right here. I don't have to go digging for it. It's here. It's not going anywhere. It's not gonna get destroyed. It can't get wet.
Yeah.
And
hopefully.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep the magnets away, but that's what I like. That's what I like about it.
Talk a little bit about what you have coming up next. I know you have a tour after releasing the album. You're playing at Lavo tonight, right?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, we're doing our album release party at Lavo, New York tonight. It's going to be good. And then we're off to, I think, Washington for this Paradiso Festival.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It's beautiful, right?
It's beautiful, yes. Yeah, right on like this huge gorge. That's going to be amazing.
It's a beautiful view. Second to New Jersey, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And then, we're going to be on tour all summer and in the fall, and we got a lot of, we're going to be releasing a lot of music throughout the year, too. We have a lot of VIP remixes of our own songs. We have multiple versions of songs that didn't make the album. So we got a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming out.
Cool. And what can we expect for the next album or for the next set of, original releases?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, the only thing right now set in stone is I'd say probably like maybe around like in the fall we're gonna be doing like that EP that he's talking about. We're not sure exactly what it's gonna be called or how it's gonna be packaged, but it'll be like a B-side alternative version kind of package where it has like for instance the song we did with Christina Perri. We did, I kid you not, we did about 7 versions of that song, and not just mixes, different mixes with the bass lower, the vocals lower, completely different versions of the song. And we were like, because we just couldn't find what was best for it. And then when we were done, we were like, oh shit, we like them all. Like what we had to pick one, So we picked one, but then I was like, we shouldn't throw these ones away. Like, let's do something with it. So we're gonna put those out on it as well. We did one with James Blunt. That'll be on it. Some other unreleased stuff, like just some club tracks, will be on it. Or just different edits of the song. Like we do some live edits. So like we have a really cool live edit that we do of Devil with Busta Rhymes, and we're like, but people see it live, but why don't we just release it? It's awesome. It's different. Let's do it. So something like that.
Something that DJs can use too when they're playing out. Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. I think that about wraps up the time we've got. So I think we'll open it up to audience questions.
Yeah.
Hello.
Cool.
Hey guys. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. I actually had the opportunity to see you guys last year when you guys were touring with Tritonal.
Yes.
And
Nice.
it's probably like the best time I had in my life.
Oh,
And my
Likewise,
question-
man. Likewise.
Thank you.
But it was really hot though. I'm not even gonna lie. And my question to you guys is, what's the most memorable venue you ever been part of?
Honestly, were you at the Terminal 5 show? That was
Yeah.
one of the most memorable for me for sure, because I've been to a lot of concerts there, and that was definitely like a career highlight. No,
No.
for real, man, because we're from New Jersey, so that's like a hometown venue for us, and selling that place out was definitely one of the most memorable experiences in my life for sure.
Mhm. I'd probably say Terminal 5 too, yeah. Because the festivals are great. Like we played festivals with like 30,000 people, like South Korea. I mean, we're going to one this weekend's going to be great. But there's something about playing a show where it's like it's your show, like it's your headlining show, and it's like these people are here for us. Like they're singing our songs. These are our fans, you know. And it's just priceless.
How's it going, guys?
What's up,
Hey,
man?
Good.
If you guys could collaborate with anyone, past or present, who would it be?
Michael Jackson,
Yes.
be number one on my list.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
For sure.
Definitely MJ, for sure.
Right here. Okay. Well, congratulations on your album. I think it's the perfect time to be releasing it, like, seriously. So,
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
congratulations for that. And also, I like the fact that you guys have great artists that have been in the industry for so long. I think that's amazing, like Busta Rhymes and Nelly. That's really powerful. I wanted to know, what was the turning point for you guys? Like, I heard your story as far as high school and growing up, but what
Yeah.
made you guys really commit to, you know, putting your blood, sweat, and the rest of your lives into what you guys are doing?
That's an interesting
Yeah.
one. There was probably a few points. I mean, obviously, like even when we were young in high school, it was kind of just like, well, we suck at everything else, and you know, we can't play sports. We're not really great in school. Like, how are girls gonna like us? You know, so you know, we were like, oh, campfire. Like whenever I bring out the acoustic guitar, it was like it felt good. You know, like I'd get people to sing along. Like I'd break out the acoustic guitar, I'd, like
Hit the
you know,
beach, go down the
yeah,
shore,
go down the
acoustic
shore and
guitar.
like have like sing-alongs, and I just like I think that like put something in me. Like wow, like that's such a good feeling. Like imagine what it would be like to do that on a grand scale. So that would be one point. I'd say the other one when it got real serious was obviously when like people started to come to the shows then and were like, yo, like this is turning into something, you know, like this is not just a hobby. Like this could be our career path. And
Yeah, especially playing with like early on, playing with groups that we're kind of looking up to, but then like we're slowly becoming our peers. We're like, we could do this, you know? That's kind of like.
And there were times where like we've been like, this is not going to work. Like when we lost our first record deal and we didn't know what to do with our lives. Like what do we do? Like do we give up? And you know, a lot of artists have a story like that, but ours was real. Like we were living in a house together, barely making enough money to pay rent. The house was shit. It was gross, you know, and we had a studio in the basement, and we had no idea what we were doing, but we just knew we were like, it's gonna work out. Like let's just keep producing music. Like we're expanding. Like we're working with different artists, and then, you know, we put one song out, "Take Me Home," and it changed everything for us.
All right, guys, let's give it up one more time for Cash Cash.
Cool, thank you guys.